All of us then fast toward the 9th year of Viserys' rule, when our tale begins. This will be, a useful note, 172 years before the death of the Mad King as well as the birth of his child, Daenerys Targaryen. Therefore, don't anticipate any cameos. Here we fulfill Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen, a sharp and appealing Millie Alcock, daughter of Viserys, and her dragon, Syrax. Her closest friend is Alicent Hightower, Emily Carey, a girl of Otto Hightower, Rhys Ivans, Hands of the King, that is prim and appropriate in all the ways Rhaenyra is flippant in addition to free-spirited. They bicker, sure, but they stay close. Rhaenyra's mom, Emma, is pregnant with her child. This is good news with regard to Viserys, who requires a male heir associated with his own. He's assured the baby will be a boy. He's experienced prophetic dreams about this, he claims, yet Emma has issues about her miserable pregnancy. Throughout the last decade, she actually lost 5 infants, 2 in order to miscarriages, 2 to be able to stillbirths, and 1 to early death. The Queen fears the same might happen again. I apologize if I've unsuccessful you, the Queen tells her spouse. Rhaenyra, too, expects it's a boy, approximately, she says. She feels it's the only point that will make her dad happy. Still, we all know she's not thinking about playing the traditional functions of the Westerosi lady. When her mommy tells her that this discomfort of giving birth is how all of us serve the world, she says she would rather swing the sword on the battleground. Alicent is irritated at Rhaenyra's biformity about the throne. Apart from that, there are others who wish for the throne a lot more than her. Her uncle Daemon, Matt Jones, the perfect mix of caddish charm and teeth-gnashing malevolence, for instance. Both display an odd, however playful camaraderie whenever they meet in the throne room, where he rests comfortably atop the particular spiky, sword-laden metal throne. Contrast their comfort with Viserys, who nurses several wounds from the throne, including a pus-oozing opening in his back that will not seem to heal. Daemon believes he could be next in line for the throne in case Emma's child is not a boy. He would like this. Daemon, distrusted by many people in the King's group for his brutish tendencies, is currently typically the commander of the town watch. Believing his brother to be smooth on crime, these individuals round up the guardsmen for a blitzkrieg on King's Landing, which he says offers fallen into squalor under Viserys guidelines. You're a group of hounds. Inch, he tells the particular bloodthirsty troops prior to sicking them reduce on the thoroughfare for a few gory eye for an eye proper rights. Thieves lose their own hands, rapists drop their balls, and even killers lose their particular heads. It's raw stuff. Viserys is not pleased with his sibling, and a tense discussion reveals that Daemon despises his spouse, Lady Rhea Royce, heir to Runestone, in the Vale regarding Aeron. He usually spends no time in the Bono, preferring to be near to the royal family within King's Landing. Throughout their argument, he requires shots at Hightower, with whom there is absolutely no love lost. Daemon retreats to their companion, Miseria, Sonoya Mizuno, who conveniences him after their lingering anger ruins their tryst. The particular denizens of King's Landing gather for any jousting tournament saved in honor of Viserys' soon-to-be-born kid. Emma, we understand, is going to work in concert with the competition. Daemon, clad inside an elaborate dragon shield, trolls Hightower simply by challenging his child and using his joust to trip typically the young Hightower's horse, injuring him. Rhaenyra remains charmed by simply him, though it can Alicent for whom he asks to prefer. Rhaenyra, meanwhile, bestows her favor on the handsome Dornishman, say Torner Kristen Cole, Fabian Frankel. Soon, Cole and Daemon square off. Daemon ratings an early strike, nevertheless it's Cole that wins the joust. A seething Daemon challenges Cole to some contest of hands, but it plays away much like their joust, with Daemon beginning strong and winding up on his back. He is lucky he did not end up like a few of the other competitors, a few of whom saw their very own heads axed in order to pulp following his battles. Regardless, Damon refuses Cole's hands after defeat. At the same time, Emma's labor is certainly going as badly as she'd feared. Typically, the maester tells Viserys that she's going to pass away, but that there's an opportunity to save the child. To do this, however, would mean performing out and imposing tremendous amounts of discomfort on Emma. Viserys, desperate for an inheritor, don't struggle a long time before asking them to minimize the baby. They do, in a punishing, ear-splitting sequence, and Viserys soon finds themselves standing over the blood-soaked corpse of his wife, holding an infant that will be dead rapidly when compared with a few short hours. Emma's suffering is in vain. The question of the heirs surfaces right after Emma and the infant's funeral. Daemon is usually bandied about being Rhaenys, who's recognized amongst many since the queen who in no way was. Viserys scoffs at the idea of Rhaenys sitting on the throne. She's over the age of him, after all, and this upsets the girl's husband, Corlys Velaryon, Steve Toussaint. The seafarer is also called the Sea Snake and the Lord of the Tides. He is clearly undervalued in the court involving Viserys, and his fatigue with the state in the realm is obvious. Hightower, meanwhile, functions to sabotage Daemon's probabilities. He recounts to be able to Viserys an orgiastic party where Daemon appeared to be celebrating the particular death of Balon, whom he knew as the heir for any day. Whenever confronted, Daemon can simply say that we all mourn in our own method. He proceeds to call Viserys weak, criticizing for never requesting Daemon to act as his hand. Viserys declares he will not be naming Daemon his heir, purchasing him to return to typically the Vale. It's Rhaenyra he chooses. I have wasted the many years' movements since you were given birth to hoping for a child, he informs her. He proceeds to lay out the 2 points any Targaryen leader must know. 1. A new Targaryen mustn't think of the myths info that pervades Westeros, namely that Targaryens are capable of controlling dragons. 2. Aegon Targaryen foresaw the end of the world of man via a terrible winter that can only become survived with a Targaryen on the throne. This particular secret must be transported, protected, and passed on, he says. We know how all of those mixtures out. The show ends with Daemon departing on his dragon, Caraxes, as the lords of the realm promise their fealty in order to Rhaenyra. Something informs me he'll be back eventually.